Hi everyone, and welcome back to Cheesecake Week. Yes, the best week of the year without question, Cheesecake Week. So today we're baking Oreo cheesecakes. I think when Oreos became kosher, it was like a really good day. I mean, like for everyone, just this cookie that we'd always longed for. There were kosher imitations, but they were nowhere near as good. And we knew that even without tasting it. And once we tasted it, it was confirmed. So this is not just a celebration of Shavuot and cheesecake, but Oreos becoming kosher. So let's start straight away with the crust. What I have here is 15 Oreos, cream included, totally crushed up in the food processor. And because there's already cream in the cookie, you don't actually need quite as much butter to kind of mix it together. So I'm gonna add the butter and we're gonna make a crumb. All right, so my crumb is ready to go into the pan. And like all cheesecakes, I'm gonna advise you to do as follows. Line the outside of your pan really, really well with aluminum foil. Butter the inside really well, because two things. We're gonna cook the cheesecake in a water bath, so we don't want any water to escape into the pan. Because it is a spring form, it's not 100% sealed. And the reason we butter the inside so well is because obviously we want the cheesecake to come out. So my very well lined and buttered pan, I'm adding my Oreo crumb that I mixed some butter into, and that's all going into my pan. I'm very excited. All right, I am going to use the bottom of a measuring cup to press the crumb into the base. And I think one of the concerns is often, well, it's so dry, how is it gonna hold together? So the weight of the cream cheese filling on top combined with the moisture actually means that after a few hours of sitting like that, the crumb kind of has no choice but stick together. So unlike my graham cracker crumb, this is a much thinner layer because a little bit of Oreo goes a long way. So as you can see, my base is ready. It doesn't take very long. And I say this all the time. Yeah, you need a lot of preparation for a cheesecake and quite a bit of patience, but the cheesecake itself is simple. So crumb is ready. Let's put that to the side and let's start with the cream cheese filling. So what I have in my food processor is 3 blocks of American cream cheese ready to go. And to those 3 blocks of cream cheese, I'm adding 150 grams of sugar. And let's break up those blocks of cream cheese really fast. They're already softened. Everything is room temperature. It seems to be really good for the cheesecake, for everything to be at room temperature. It comes together like easily. There are fewer lumps. It's really good. All right, my cream cheese is mixed. And now to that, I'm gonna add 20 grams of flour. And this is a cookies and cream cheesecake, so loads of vanilla. So I'm adding actually 3 teaspoons of vanilla because we want to highlight that amazing vanilla center of an Oreo. So we're going to process that, and then we only have a few more ingredients to go before this can get started with this really important cooking bit. All right, that's done. Let's add to that a 1/4 cup milk and 2 eggs all at once. And then we're gonna mix just until, or even a little bit less of it coming together. Yes, done. All right, last ingredient is my 10 additional Oreos. And what I'm gonna do is actually crush them into the food processor. I want them to stay in pieces, but I don't want to over process the cheese that's already in there. So I'm just gonna help it along by crushing them in. And those were already slightly crushed, so they can get in. And oh my goodness, we're nearly there. So I'm just gonna pulse it a few times until I can see that the cookie is dispersed, and it is, and we are done. This is going into my already lined base. How awesome is that? Check that out. All right, this is going to the base, and then water bath and oven. All right, so my cheesecake is ready. I actually have two, one plain, one Oreo, and my kettle is boiled. I'm gonna pour the water into the tin, creating a water bath, and then this is going into the oven at 160 degrees Celsius, which is 320 Fahrenheit, for an hour, and it's gonna gently bake. The combination of the lower heat and the water bath will make sure that it bakes evenly, and it's gonna be silky and delicious. All right, so our Oreo cheesecake is cooling in the fridge, and it's time to make the Decorator's whipped cream. What's different in Decorator's whipped cream than regular whipped cream? Gelatin. We put a little bit of gelatin so to make sure that the whipped cream holds its shape. So what I have here, though you can't see anything, is 1 teaspoon of gelatin with 1 tablespoon of water, which I melted together for 10 seconds in the microwave. In my mixer, I've got 1 cup of double cream or heavy cream, whipping cream, whatever you call it. Now, cream, real cream, as opposed to Parav whip, whips up super duper fast. So you need to keep an eye on it. Into my cream is going 1 tablespoon of sugar, and I'm going to watch this like a hawk because I don't want it turning into butter. I'm going to whip it just until it holds its shape. I've been whipping for a while here, and what happens is it goes from whipped to butter in like 3 strokes. So as much as you want to walk away and think nothing's happening, I could walk away for a minute or two and come back. Don't do it. Stay, because you don't want butter. You want whipped cream. That's what you want. There's no peaks holding, but there is a little bit of a shape to it. That is perfectly whipped cream. And now we're ready to add our last 2 ingredients and only whip it for another second or 2 afterwards, which is 1 teaspoon of vanilla going in there, and our melted gelatin and water is going in. So those are gonna go in. I'm going to really just whip it a few more times to make sure that everything is combined, but ever so gently. Deep breath and make sure it's mixed, and stop. That's it. This mixture is going into the fridge for half an hour to allow the gelatin to do its thing and hold the whipped cream together. And then we're gonna decorate our Oreo cheesecake. Oh, so good. So our whipped cream is set. Our cheesecake is cooled, and now it's time to decorate. Now, I'm not huge on decorations unless they're meant for a purpose. So one of the things I learned in pastry school was always tell people what they're eating. So in order to inform people that this is an Oreo cheesecake, we need to put some Oreos on top. I'm not brilliant with the whole piping thing, so I have a few things I do to make it easier for me. I have a big cup here, and I've got a star tip in a piping bag. I am rolling the piping bag closed. I'm then gonna put the whole thing into the cup and open it up. And that way I can fill my piping bag a little bit easier. So I have my whipped cream that we set up with a little bit of gelatin, and that is going in there. I'm not actually going to use a huge amount of whipped cream, and it's easier to use a bag that isn't super full, I've found. So that is going in. Let's close the bag, move the cup away, and here we go. And what I have here is a plate. The plate is there so that I could do a few practice runs of my rosette. So my plate, my whipped cream, and I think I'm going for something like that. I know there are people who do like little snail shapes, but I think the rosette shape is what I'm after. Let's try that just once more to be sure. And rosette, or from the inside out. So I just do a few of these to make sure everything's working. Let's bring the cake closer to me. And that was another thing they taught us at pastry school. Bring the stuff to you. Don't be the one reaching over. So I'm gonna start with a rosette there and one across from it. And then again, so the reason I'm not going around like clockwise or counterclockwise is because I want to make sure they're evenly across from each other. And that to me is more than enough. I don't know. And now I've got my Oreos. I tried to cut them in half. Some succeeded, some didn't. And those are going into the rosettes. I think that's the only way I accept decorations, when they're meant to be eaten. I love those beautiful cakes with all those amazing sugar work decorations, but I never really want to eat them. I want to eat like real food, even if it's all sugar. So these are appealing to me, my little Oreos in their whipped cream rosettes. So exciting, especially as it's a cookies and cream cheesecake. Therefore, we really do need the whole cookies and cream. And I think I'm gonna put a little bit of decoration in the center. And I'm probably messing up my cake in doing that. And all I'm gonna do is make sure that I'm gonna cover up that mess with a few more broken Oreos. So those are going in, and I think I'm really gonna break them onto the center. Oh my gosh, I'm very excited about Oreo cheesecake. I think it really is that combination of something I've always wanted, which was Oreos. Growing up, they weren't kosher, together with cheesecake, which is always had a special place in the Ashkenazi Jewish kitchen. So try this at home. Really, really not complicated as long as you follow our tips. All right, see y'all soon.